Let's talk, just go back to a couple of local things. Adam Bandt, while he's not busy hanging around with Marine Fruki, decided to hop into a wetsuit made of fossil fuels, Adam.
Made of
in
oil.
a kayak made of fossil fuels, Adam, to go out and wander around and protest against fossil fuels. Adam, you're an idiot as well as a hypocrite.
Rowan, you know who else is an idiot, though? Is the New South Wales Police Minister, Yasmin Catley. In the otherwise more or less sensible Chris Minns government, you have to give him a bit of credit on some of this stuff, but Yasmin Catley, his police minister, allowed this 30-hour kayak naval blockade of the port of Newcastle, which sends coal and food and grain and Australian products around the world so that they could protest climate change. She said it's great to see people speaking out because we know where things are going. She is enabling this. And the worst bit about this, too, she's also the member for Hunter, where all of that coal comes from. So I wonder how how her local electors feel about her running down their industry.
Well, she's floundered on multiple fronts as well. We saw her response. The Jewish community were up in arms after the first of the pro-Palestinian marches and the catastrophe we saw at the Opera House that went around the world. There's cause for her to resign for a number of reasons.
Well, let's repeat them. Resign, please. Please, resign.
But to say I applaud people getting involved, we all know what's happening. I mean, this is madness to have the police minister not just allowing this, but promoting it, applauding it. I mean, that is a sign that there is a sickness in the Minns government, no matter how good Chris Minns has been thus far and how centrist he's been.
But look at this. Look at these clowns. Look at these clowns.
Seriously, try and make your kayak out of basket weaving, sustainable, grasses or whatever, Adam, and see how far you get. Credit to Mark Speakman. We're always quick to criticise those bedwetting Liberals who seem to be confused about whether they're in the Liberal or Labor Party. Speakman often seems very confused. He was, I think, voting yes for the Voice not long ago. But he has come out, so we give credit where credit is due, in opposition to the offshore wind farms. Better late than never, Mr. Speakman. Glad to see you finally understood that you oppose a government is how you win. That's just a
amazing.
It helps. Something the Victorian Liberals still haven't figured out, but let's just give them time. I'm sure they can be in opposition for a few more decades. But let's talk about the change here, because it comes as taxpayers are going to be up for a 5-fold increase in backing renewable projects. So they're going to be underwriting these projects. If they fail, we pick up the bill, and too often they do fail, or the costs go crazy.
Every time.
Again, this is another Chris Bowen ideological
There's a lot of detail in this plan here too. People need to understand what Chris Bowen has proposed here. And there's a number of things here that are worrisome, including the fact that it's written in such a way that we will never know how much is being charged to the taxpayer because it's all commercial in confidence for these bids that the renewable companies get to say, oh, well, you need to give us this much so that we can have a guaranteed return. But also, there's a proposal here to create 32 gigawatts of power. Well, 6 of that's coming from batteries. The rest is coming from renewables. The batteries only are, under the standard of the proposal, going to last for 4 hours. So if your weather event lasts for more than 4 hours and the wind's not blowing or the solar's not going, you're out of luck. It is shot through with economic idiocy, and it is simply doomed to fail. And I think part of the plan here, too, is to create another situation where, because of market interventions, it makes the renewables look cheap so that nuclear winds up being priced out of the game. This is what the game is about.
But the consumers end up paying. You'll just pay for it through your taxes.
And taxes or your bills.
We have to have complete clarity in how much this is costing. You cannot play tricks with commercial in confidence to try to hide this data, because this is crucial. And if you're wondering why so many people in the top end of town are all for renewables and really onto this climate change bandwagon, because they're invested in it, because they stand to gain enormously. And when the taxpayer is funding it, that money is guaranteed.
You take any current Albanese government policy and you've got the 3 I's. you've got the ideology, you've got the idiocy, and you've got the incompetency. And you take every single one of these policies, and this is right at the top of them, because we have Chris Bowen toddling off to Dubai next week, costing you a fortune, by the way, to the Climate COP28 conference, where he will be the lone bloke. Nigel, no friends in the corner of the room, because everyone else is going nuclear, and that's the way to go, which we could be the leading country in the world in nuclear. We've got the resources, we've got everything that you need, but no, we've decided we're going to be world renewables leaders. Complete disaster. As Rita says, the numbers simply don't add up. We've also got the Reserve Bank have come out and said, oh, by the way, interest rates are going to keep going up, inflation's going to keep, whatever it is, because basically Chalmers is a goose as well. Ideology, incompetency and idiocy. That sums up our economic policy under Chalmers. You can go through the rest of them. Burke with his industrial relations, Penny Wong with her insane foreign policies. James, is there anyone in Labor actually doing a decent job? Albanese obviously is doing a very good job of chalking up the frequent flyer miles, but that's about it as far as I can tell.
Yeah, no, they're in a real sort of state of disarray here. I think there's, if you look again, as I was saying before, on every single front, they're now starting to fall apart. I think the most worrying thing, actually, frankly, is on foreign and defense policy, where at the start they had a very, strong, it was put out there by Albanese to the team, do not make any point of difference between us and the coalition on this stuff, because it'll fall apart, and it's already falling apart now. We see this on Israel, we see this on the economy, we see this on Gaza, we see this on refugees. This government is falling apart, and falling apart fast.